bater pela direita, vai fazer a execução do lance lateral, garotão, camisa número 2, estreando. Me llaman el desaparecido.
Algo que en Canadá y en Estados Unidos yo creo que es muy importante en beneficio del movimiento popular en México es exigirle al gobierno gringo que cancele la iniciativa Mérida, porque es lo que ha justificado la venta de armas que después se ha comprobado que han servido para matar a estudiantes y a luchadores sociales. Entonces, esa es una exigencia. La otra, no se nos olvide, la intervención de Estados Unidos en México es ya una realidad. O sea, los órganos de inteligencia y militar estadounidenses tienen injerencia sobre el ejército mexicano, sobre las policías, está comprobado, hay datos, y acaban de tratar de aprobar que permitan a los agentes estadounidenses que tienen que ver con aduanas y demás, que vayan armados. Antes no se permitía. Iban pues, pero era ilegal. Hoy va a ser legal. Entonces,
Tuckman, from The Guardian, right?
Yes, right.
Thank you so much for coming to talk about Ayotzinapa. And I read about you moved to Mexico in 2000.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, how you been seeing the country? Right now, we feel like the country is getting worse in terms of human rights, in terms of free speech, in terms of the killing people for natural resources. Give us your opinion.
I think it's been very bad for a long time. I think there's a collection of things that mean that right now that very badness has been brought to the forefront, a spotlight has been shone onto it. I don't think it is actually necessarily getting worse, but I think there's an awareness of how bad things have been, how they are not getting better, and in how some aspects there are things happening which will make them worse if something isn't done soon.
So you work for The Guardian, you write for The Guardian, correct? And this means that in the UK receive this news that you write about Mexico. How people in London receive or perceive the Mexican government, what is happening right now?
Well, I mean, the Guardian is now, it has a global readership now in English in the US as well. I think the perception, it goes in waves. I think there is I think there was a public relations offensive on the part of President Peña Nieto that was quite successful in the beginning of his administration in 2013 to sell the new Mexican government as a modernist, reformist vanguard of pushing Mexico towards a new and prosperous future. The Guardian didn't really get behind that in any sense, but a lot of other media groups did, and there was an image, a positive image of Peña Nieto and his administration. That's come crashing down, and I think that's come crashing down in part because of Ayotzinapa and other things that happened before that. And I think The Guardian has drawn attention to that, as have a lot of other media. And so I think, Mexico's image has changed fundamentally because of those kind of reports that we are all putting out. I think the challenge now is to make sure that that interest is maintained in what is going on in Mexico, so that the pressure that has been gathering around those issues of human rights, those issues of corruption, those issues of unaccountability and lack of transparency don't just fade away, and that the pressure that has been garnered pushes towards actually the kind of reforms that could make it the rhetoric a reality.
Well, I want to thank you for giving this conference. And I know President Peña Nieto and his family just went to England. And they were pretending that nothing happened in Mexico. It is very funny, the perception that they sent to the war when the country is actually living and
So
others.
the perception is also from the British government and the royal family. I mean, it was a visit that was arranged a long time ago, and it wasn't in the interests of the British royal family or the British government to upset the apple cart in any sense. So in that sense, it was a pact between everybody that everything was absolutely hunky-dory and fine. And it's precisely that reason why it's so important to keep writing about Mexico and to keep reading about Mexico and informing yourselves, and also realizing just how complex the situation is. It's not a straight, easy issue of goodies and baddies. It's a very, very complex and dynamic situation. It's a very, very complex and dynamic solution. But what's clear is that there have to be pressure on certain basic things, like, you don't go around killing that quantity of people without some kind of consequence.
Well, thank you very much, and thanks.
My pleasure.